This week, Nelson and I demonstrate the effects of how wrapper binder and filler are super important to the overall flavor of a premium cigar. To accomplish this task, we have John Troiano from Alec Bradley Cigar Company here in studio to walk us through this process. Together, we will be smoking different components of the cigar and discussing what types of flavors that we're getting out of them. We have wrapper, binder, and filler all separate and then to be combined with an Alec Bradley cigar that we're going to try to guess what it is. We are going to break this all down for you. If you've never been to a blending seminar, Stogie Geeks, this is a great place to start so you can kind of see how they go. By the way, Happy New Year to Stogie Geeks. Hope 2021 is healthy and happy for all of us. And don't forget, Nelson will have news. Stogie Geeks episode 351 starts right now.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Josepa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up. So we also have remote Drew, who is remote over in Texas. Look at you. You got some Stogie Geek swag going on in the background.
Got my banner.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm all set up for the Stogie Geek mobile lounge.
Confidence. Confidence isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air, thinking you're better than anyone else. It's walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to anyone in the first place.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Happy New Year, Stogie Geeks. It is 2021. I am your host, Joe Josepa. Privilege and an honor to be here. I'm super excited about today. I'm super excited about this year. Just can't wait for Nelson's news segment here on Stogie Geeks. I want to say, hope everyone has had a safe and healthy and happy holiday season and a happy new year. We're back at it. I'm super excited. I want to introduce you to soon-to-be internet sensation, Mr. Nelson.
Nice to be back. Happy New Year, Stogie Geeks. Joe, thanks for having me back.
I'm super excited to have you back, man. Happy New Year.
I'm super excited for this episode. This is going to be a stellar show. This is totally different. I'm really digging this.
Yes. The concept of this show, like everything else in Stogie Geeks world, happened 6 months ago, and then it comes to fruition at the Lightning Strike event. And today is the Lightning Strike event. Happy to welcome, first time here on Stogie Geeks, John Troiano from Alec Bradley Cigar Company. John, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
John is without using the cliche word over and over again, John is an OG in the industry.
He's been around
Do you know
for
what
a
that
minute.
means, John?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
It's original gangster, John.
Okay.
John is an OG. He has put together a blending seminar for us. Now, end goal, right, is obviously we all know from listening to Stogie Geeks and new to Stogie Geeks, cigars are made of components, wrapper, binder, and filler, right? The purpose of this is to take the wrapper and binder and filler, get the components, smoke it together, guess the Alec Bradley cigar that they're doing there. In between the commentary, because it would get very boring of just smoking through that, we're going to have some news. We're going to talk about John, his position at Alec Bradley, what he did before, all types of super cool stuff in the industry, maybe some interesting stories and stuff like that. So that is going to be today's show. Next week, we will have Sticks of the Week and continue. But I wanted to kind of treat this separate because it's going to be a super educational learning experience. I'm actually super excited. This is like, for me personally, John, this is where like my Stogie Geeks journey has come to a circle, right? And what I mean by that is, in my opinion, we all go through little circles and little journeys and whatnot, but I met Paul at a blending seminar.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, Paul always knew of me, and I knew of Paul. And, you know, I've watched Stogie Geeks way back when. And, like, you know, and then all of a sudden, it's like, you know, it's funny because when I met Paul, he's like, "Hi, I'm Paul Hazdarian." It's like, "Yeah, I know who you are." You know what I mean? And then it's like, you know, "Hi, I'm Joe Zemper." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you have a radio show, blah, blah, blah." And it's super cool because it's kind of like coming, I don't know. I don't know. At least that's how my brain
Full
works.
circle.
At least that's how my brain works. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that how my brain works is how my mouth works. And that's either a good thing or a bad thing.
Debatable.
Right? And then there you go from there. So, John, let's jump into it because we have a lot of smoking to do. We got to cleanse our palate. We have soda water so that we can take it from there. But what's going on here?
Well, the first thing we have are 3 puritos. These puritos are single leaf tobacco. So the filler and the binder are all the same leaf. The number 1 is Jalapa Ligero.
Okay.
And so the first thing we're going to do is get going
Cut and
and
light.
light it up. It's already been cut.
Yeah, no cutting needed.
I'm taking my. Oh, it's already been cut. Oh, okay. Got to put away the Alec Bradley sponsor cutter, right? Right. Okay. So I guess we're ready to jump in. Let's do it.
Sure.
Oh, that. Ooh, retro hail. Bang. So okay, I have a tough time focusing in regular life, let alone in my Stogie Geek show. What are we smoking right now?
This is a Jalapa Ligero.
Okay, and this is the binder.
This is part of the filler.
Okay.
Now, typically when we do this at an event, and you know I'll do these for any of my retailers that I call on, and we're sitting around a table, we'll ask, okay, what flavors are you getting? What are you getting from it? Where's it hitting on your tongue? On the retro hill, what are you tasting? So I'll open it up.
I'm getting some sweetness, definitely.
Getting some sweetness.
Yeah, non-retro hail, sweetness, right? Dryness on the non-retro hail, right? It's dry. It's dry on the palate. Retro hail, I gotta say, like spice. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't want to be cliche and say it's pepper, right? It's white pepper. Is it white pepper?
Okay.
No,
He's not revealing.
Have your other seminars people said that?
I would say that everybody says the dryness,
Yep.
certainly.
Yes.
And a peppery component. Mm-hmm. Now, this is what's happening in Honduras and Nicaragua, the Dominican, and Mexico, wherever cigars are being blended. Mm-hmm. This is how they go about it. They're going to take the components that they think are going to work together, mm-hmm. and as you see, as we progress, you're going to see what we're going to do with sample number 2.
All right.
All right, I'm not getting white pepper on this. I'm getting more like a baker's spice.
Like a crushed red pepper?
No.
Or no pepper?
No. Like
Okay, so it is spice. Let's
is
take
a
some time to
spice.
define this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it is a spice.
John's just looking at it.
No, John, no, that's what they do. That's just okay. Let us have fun. This is
This is what it's all
No,
about.
this is fun.
you know, I think my kid does this at school. It's like kinetic sand for cigars, right? This is like us playing in the kinetic sandbox. For you Stogie Geeks that don't have kids, you can Google kinetic sand. It's all over my living room floor. Since Santa came.
I have to look it up. I have no idea what that is.
It's sand. It's I don't know. So yeah. Non-retro. I want to define non-retro because I think that's a little bit easier, right? Complete dryness there. Lingering. It's the taste is lingering. but it's lingering on the front of the palate. What I mean by that is like up here. It's not lingering
Yeah,
like
I agree
back
with.
here.
I agree with the front.
Right. It's lingering on the front of the palate. However, I can taste it on the sides of my tongue in the back. You? No? Am I going too crazy here? But that's
absolutely on the sides of the tongue.
Yep. That's my original description from the non-retrohale, right? I do want to take some time and try to see if we can identify this spice, right? I should have went to my spice rack and snorted a bunch of different spices.
I wish we had a wheel here or something.
Right? They have a cigar
Flavor wheel.
A flavor wheel. We don't need a flavor wheel. We're Stogie Geeks.
I don't cook. I don't.
Oh, they have a flavor wheel for cooking?
No,
I didn't even know that.
they do actually.
I'm sure they do. That's crazy.
You're right. Like I'm struggling. I'm having the same struggle. I'm getting the spice. I can't. I don't think it's white pepper though.
It's, you know what's going to be crazy? Because it's separate, like our minds are trying to do that. And maybe if we, and again, we've never gotten to the other two.
The other flavors, yeah.
Maybe we'll be like, oh no, that's white pepper, but this is X. You know what I mean? Has that happened in your seminars?
Sure.
Yeah. Are we remotely close on the retro
absolutely.
Okay.
The tongue, in the back of the tongue, dryness, certainly.
Right. So take us through. So if they were to build this, do they actually take the components sometimes and separate them?
Yes.
Okay.
Normally, that's how they do it. I've been to factories in Mexico where I've seen that, and I know that's how we do it down in Honduras and Nicaragua, where we'll take the components. And somebody will have an idea. I'm going to have my own blend come out sometime in June or July, and I just had an idea of what I thought would work together. Put it together when we were in Honduras in 2019, and kept my notes. And when the project came about to do our own blends, I had my notes, put the notes, sent them down to corporate, and they went down to Honduras, put it together, and they tweaked it a little. And from what I gather, just waiting for my samples to come up for me to try, the cigar is pretty tasty.
I'm excited to hear and talk about that blend.
Anything on citrus? I'm getting a.
I was just gonna say, but I was waiting for like everything to settle. Has that retrohale changed? Because
Yeah,
it did.
at the finish,
yes.
I'm getting a almost a.
Yes.
At the finish
A
of the retro.
zestiness.
Yeah.
It's a zesty. It's like spraying a lemon up your nose.
You know
or
what I
something
did,
like
Joe?
that.
Is I took a sip of the
soda water. I did that too. Yeah.
This is fascinating.
Yeah, definitely some citrus coming through there. And now the non-retrohale is zingy on the tongue. Penetrating, at least on my palate, more towards the center.
Well, it is a Ligeiro.
Yeah. And refresh the Stogie Geeks listener of the components of this. It's from Jalapa Valley.
This is from Jalapa.
Yep.
The Purito number 2 is from Trojes, and it's a Viso, and the last is going to be from Trojes also, and it's a.
So the Viso is
and
the
it's
bottom.
Viso's in the middle.
Okay, in the middle.
Well,
I always thought
above the sand leaves.
Okay, yep. But I always thought like it was you have 4 layers and the Viso is on the bottom layer. Is that am I
Above the Volado.
Yeah, the Volata. That's right. Okay, I'm getting the V. Yeah. Gotcha. See, I'm going back in my like 2017 curriculum of a leaf. Lots happened since then.
The diagram of a leaf.
Yeah, I probably still have baby brain.
Yeah.
It comes back.
The pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, not quite eye-watering, but it's there. it comes. It's so crazy how it fades. It really fades in and out, which probably, depending. I'm speculating here because we have 2 more to go through. I wonder if this is the layer that's responsible for cigar transition. Because
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
unless they all transition, I don't know. I've been to 2 blending seminars. This is my 3rd, right? I've been to multiple ones, but if you count like the ones they are, I've been to the one by Jose Blanco, and the one by Manuel Anoa. 2 different methodology of delivery for the blending seminar. Yours mimics more of the Manuel Anoa from La Aurora way, where you're smoking the 3 different components. But what they did was they took the Preferito line, and so I think there's 5 at the time off the top of my head with that. If I'm wrong, email Nelson at StogieGeeks.com. And then we did that so you can separate that, and that was it was focused on the Preferito line, and then bringing them all together there. And then the Jose Blanco one was you had 1 stick. It was 5.5 by probably 54 ring gauge that had the transitions, so it wasn't like a candy cane. I'm sorry, it wasn't like a barber pole. It was more like a sectional cigar that had all of the different sections. And this is, in my opinion, a total separation, right? So, what layer is this? Number 1 of the cigar.
That's just part. It's part of the cigar. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, depend on the blend. Sorry. Oh, what a rookie move.
Which cigar is it?
This is my first episode of Stogie Geeks. So Nelson, as we transition to the next stick, do you have some news for us to kind of?
Well, I'm picking up something else. I'm wondering if you're getting it too.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if this is an expansion on the citrus I was getting because it was subtle, but it's getting a little floral. I'm getting a little floral on it. So I don't know if it's the citrus.
No. Yeah, it's yeah. Okay. See, I wish I had I wish I had a piece of paper with a pen, but I'm okay with
You need
it.
a dry erase board.
No, I have a computer in front of me, but I don't need a piece of paper or pen. I can go back and watch this. It's probably gonna be the first Stogie Geek episode I'm gonna go back and watch. I don't have to take notes. I can go to StogieGeeks.com after this. What? It's been a while since I've been behind the microphone. I'm still in vacation mode. Not that I was ever on vacation, but yeah, complete. Okay, so we've gone pepper, sides of the tongue. Strong, but not. We don't really know if it's pepper yet because we haven't gone through the other 3. We've gone through some sort of a spice. Then we've gone through a transition, for at least me, going from sides of the tongue to the center of the tongue, and it going to refresh my memory, going to a citrus zesty there.
Yep.
And then now I'm getting like an opening up of a bouquet.
Okay. So
Like-
yeah. So all right.
Yeah,
Great.
Like honestly, I don't know. It's coming to my head. Here we go. Watch out. Right, what the hell Joe's gonna say next? It's like if I took a freaking dozen roses and like whiffed them at you.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting.
That's- yeah,
It's like a passing of a bouquet. Does that make sense? Does that
Makes
visual?
sense.
No,
Sure.
that's a better description than my floral.
Well,
so absolutely.
I'm trying to respect the Stogie Geeks listeners who are not viewing. Right. 60% of our audience does listen to us just in audio only. That's crazy. I find that fascinating. But anyway, yeah, it's like whistling of a spray.
But I feel like the pepper's been there the whole time. There was increases and decreases throughout, and not super strong at all. I definitely got sweetness right off the beginning there for sure, and that went away pretty much immediately. But yeah, same thing. I'm getting a little more on the retro on the back of my palate.
Now I am.
The more I get into this,
Yeah. Now I am as well.
See, the thing about this also is it sets up a dialogue or forfeit. When we do this at stores, I've done it with as many as a dozen people at a time, and it sets up a conversation, and everybody reacts to it and puts in their information.
right.
And then when it all comes down to the end, everybody can kind of say, "Oh yeah, now I get it."
How it all comes together.
How it all comes together.
Sure.
But I wonder if this type of makeup is responsible for the transition of how a cigar transitions.
Yeah, you said that earlier, and when I got
'Cause
the
to me-
floral, I was thinking maybe Joe's onto something.
To me, it's drastic, right? But then again, we really don't take blends and separate them and smoke them, right? That's not our job position. If we worked in a factory, I'm assuming some guy would probably say in Spanish, this gringo, they all do that. You know what I mean? But you know, it's just my opinion. Like, and maybe as we get through this, like we'll find out that they all do that, right? I don't know. And maybe within their element, if they all do that, what are they looking for?
Right.
Like, does it do it too soon? Thing that bing bang boom. Dude, I could do one of these like once a month.
This is, I mean,
Like, this is so.
This gives me a completely different perspective on cigar. It just really does, like just this one exercise we're going through right now.
You're only 33%. Actually, no, you're 25%.
Exactly, but I've never done it. I've never broken it down to this level, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess I'm more surprised that I've gone through this many different flavors just with this.
Right.
Well,
Can
you know-
you get by these? Like just separately?
Yeah.
Because
I would smoke this again.
I would smoke this again and just be like, yo, man, I just want something freaking just whacked out and tricked out.
Yeah.
Like
Do you
it's
have some filler?
It's like a tricked out cigar, right? I guess you know, for any pipe smokers, like, duh, that's what pipe smoking's for. You know. I don't know, but no, it is different. Like I am getting a plethora of transition. Ooh, I like it. John, before we get to Nelson's news, talk to us about you as we finish this. Talk to us about anything you want to add and what your position is over at Alec Bradley. How long you've been there? What it's like? Some of the experiences that you've had over there at Alec Bradley. I want to get to that point first. This way, if we start to lose listeners who are just going to fast forward through the thing, at least they'll pay attention to this part.
Well, I've been with Alec Bradley. We started my 4th year in March. I took a 2-year hiatus after being in the industry for 20 years with 2 different companies.
And we'll get to that as well. Maybe the next stick or the next section.
It's going to be a lot of no comments then. It's a great company. I cover basically the Northeast, all of New England, Long Island, and upstate New York. I'm on the road all the time, driving a lot, but I love to drive. I love traveling. I love my customers. I deal with the best people in the world. We all have a passion for the same thing, and that's cigars. And sometimes I pinch myself because I can't believe I get paid to do this.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I agree. What do you think about some cigar companies hiring sales force and some obviously laying off some sales force when we're all probably when each company is going through like the same thing, right? In other words, we're going through COVID. There's going to be some inventory backup of some sort. There's going to be some resource shortage of some sort, either with COVID or distribution and stuff like that. You don't have to get into any specifics, but like as a rep, like what's your role, and how vital is that role for a company to take it seriously? And I'm looking for just basically your answer, because I find it very fascinating when it comes to cigar news that like some companies are going through a hiring process for a force and some are going through a layoff process.
Well, anybody can make a cigar. It's during the first boom, anybody who had money could go down to Honduras, go down to Nicaragua, go to the Dominican, either find somebody that was making cigars and pay them a nickel more per cigar to put their band on it. But not everybody can sell a cigar. Not everybody, just because the cigar is good, is going to necessarily translate into success in the marketplace. You really need somebody out there shaking hands, slapping backs, waving the flag, whatever you want to call it, interacting with the consumer. That's the big thing. Owners. Let's face it. The universal buying motive is what's in it for me. Nobody buys anything because it's all self-centered. What is it going to do for me? But the real the person that where the rubber hits the road is the consumer. And when the best nights I have are after having dinner in a restaurant, instead of going back to the hotel, going to a cigar lounge, going to a store that's open in the evening, and sitting down with the customers and just talking to them. What makes you excited about cigars? What do you like? What don't you like? What sizes do you like? Why? I was born naturally curious, and I always, as a kid, I was always asking questions, and that's helped me to this day.
I think it's even outside of the premium cigar industry, like sales is an art, right? It's an art form. And it's like, if companies were looking to cut costs both in and out of this industry or whichever, they always look for sales and marketing to do that. And it's like, that's your boots on the ground. That's your people who are waving the flag. That's people who are bringing in the revenue, right? It's where the rubber meets the road, like you said. They're bringing in the revenue to get the message out there,
right?
And do that, and in whatever way that your sales force is built, right? It could be brokers, could be in-house reps. Some use a mix across North America and the world, right? I'm sure it's regionally specific. I'm sure it's profitable. Both of them have their pluses and minuses. Bringing in an in-house rep versus a broker, and that's a business model that they need to figure out, but at the end of the day, like retailers, unless they're constantly researching all the facings in their humidor and chasing cigar news and whatnot, you're the one who's ultimately going to bring them the quote unquote latest and greatest of the product. Or you're the one who's going to come up with creative ideas for that retailer to make money.
Absolutely. There's no doubt that as much as retailers want to know about cigars, they don't know everything. You can bring a retailer an idea, it can take off. You can bring a retailer idea, it can flop. But the most important thing is the retailer knows that you're trying to help them. It's a partnership, and you want your product to move out. As bad as 2020 was, I got my final numbers, 2019 versus 2020. I was down 9%. I mean, that's just incredible. For the fact that, on a personal note, I spent 2 months in a hospital bed.
Sure.
And then I was released Friday the 13th of March, and on the 17th they shut the world down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you gotta remember, we had like a 2-month lockdown, true lockdown, right? In some way, shape, or form. I want to hold that thought and continue for the sake of the show.
Well, can I just segue in? So something that Joe said actually triggered something with me. So I know you sit down with consumers. You were saying when you're go visiting the lounges, but obviously you're there to help promote not just the cigars, but the retail shop as well. But I'm thinking, do you get feedback from the consumers or ideas from the consumers that help you also increase the sales?
Oh, certainly. If you find out that a particular group likes a particular size, and maybe the retailer doesn't realize it, maybe they've never asked him because traditionally he doesn't carry a Gordo or 6x60, or maybe he's carrying too many 6x60s and doesn't have enough Toros or Coronas. The funny thing is, when we introduced Gatekeeper, we introduced it in a Corona. The the cigar took off because people wanted that blend in that size.
Right. Yeah, and see, I find that interesting because I've had a lot of discussions with retail shop owners, and they're all dealing with the same. They're trying to sell cigars, but at the same time, it's like, how do you pitch these new facings that are coming out, or even existing facings that they have in their humidor? And I think you're hitting on one of the things that's missing, and that's why I think reps are important, because you're getting that interaction, like you just said. You're hearing from consumers things that the shop owner didn't even know, right?
Right.
Like they should know these things from their own consumers. So I think the reps are the unsung heroes of the cigar industry.
Let's continue that thought when we light up the next one. I want to just keep this moving so it's not as boring as a virtual or a listening exercise for the listeners. What's your last thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I liked it. I'm baffled by. I'm going to go back to what Joe kind of hit on, the transitions. I just wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a little more consistent throughout.
Yeah. I expected it to be that too. Towards the end, flavor profile went back to the original flavor for me. So a little bit of spice, Nelson's word, pepper, my word. We're gonna hold that thought because we have 2 more sticks to go through there, and then from there, that lingering dryness was relevant throughout, except when that bouquet of not the citrus, but that bouquet we were getting kind of more towards
waving
the back
roses.
third. The waving roses. I don't know. I'll try to. Absolutely. So, John, it's time to go through the. Actually, we should probably. I'm gonna take a sip of water.
Clear the palate.
Yeah. Actually, drinking. What are you drinking? Like soda water?
Yeah.
Is that the right? Yeah. Okay. Now we're on 1-2.
1-2.
Okay. Oh, so this is for us to do again on a separate time.
Well, no. What we're gonna do after we smoke about half of this?
Yep.
We're gonna light number 1, the full number 1.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna smoke the 2 together.
Oh, okay. Yep. I see. And then we're gonna. I see where you're going.
Okay.
With this.
Okay.
Gotcha. So we're not gonna have to necessarily go through the whole transition. There.
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the number 2 cigars from the Trojes Valley. It's the Viso.
Okay.
I'm going to fire it up.
I see the process now. It's coming together. So technically, if we go 1, 2, and 3, it should mimic this. That's the goal.
Bingo.
See, I did not see that coming.
Creamy out of the gate.
Oh, I didn't even know. I'm so excited. Really? Cool.
John is stoic. He's not giving anything up. He's got his poker face on.
I have a tell, but I won't.
Oh yeah. Can you buy these? Can you? Like these would sell. I mean, yeah. I would just rock these.
See, now I'm getting
Definitely
flavor.
creamy in the beginning here.
I'm getting flavor on the tip of my tongue.
And I'm getting a little pepper, too.
Okay, Retro Hail is completely not as strong as the first one.
1-1.
Viso.
Right.
I'm definitely getting more peppery on this one.
Now, yeah. Hold on. Let me continue a little bit. Let's continue the discussion about the reps. I want to back up what Nelson and John had said. I think it's super important, right? And it happens in every industry, right? Business could be down for whatever reason, and they look at sales and marketing, and then they do that. And in my opinion, from watching other businesses, unless they have a fallout plan, i.e. someone's going to buy them, they're going to change the distribution, whatever the bigger picture is from corporate, right? Getting rid of sales reps, and if that's your only move, from what I've seen in businesses, that's the beginning of a dark time for any company, right? And so,
I agree.
and so how it relates to premium cigars. Recently, right before, I think it was right after Thanksgiving, Miami Cigar announced that they were just laying off 60% of its sales force. Is that news? Is that not news? It's yet to be determined. It's 60%. They're probably going to keep the regions that are profitable for having there. Maybe they'll switch the brokers, do what they got to do. Okay, fine, get it. But that can't be a methodology just to save the money. It needs to be something else, or it'll be a darker time for them. But maybe they might switch the distribution. Maybe they might pick up more brands. Maybe they might, you really don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's super important.
The only industry that I've ever seen that could do what you just suggested was years ago. Motorola invented the cellular telephone, and the Motorola sales force thought they were going to be rich salesmen because they were going to be selling cell phones, and they just did a 180-degree turn and turned it into a completely retail distribution market,
Sure.
and it succeeded.
Well, because the quickest way to get to retail quickest way to get to consumer, any industry, is to retail.
Well, and the cell phones sell themselves.
Right.
Well, you need them, right? I mean, nowadays they're like computers.
Well, especially back then.
But back then, yeah.
Yeah, back then it was 10 cents a minute. It was bag phones and
Free nights and weekends.
yeah. But I mean, that's the only
Call me
industry.
after 7.
Oh, exactly. I remember that. Holy shit.
Yo, I'll talk to you later, man. Call me after 7. Peace.
Don't call me now.
I just always rocked the freaking retardedly big cell phone bill. And
Did you have the bag? I had the bag phone.
I did not-
Cellular One bag phone.
I didn't. I had the bag, but it wasn't mine. So like my parents had a bag phone,
Yeah.
and at the time I got my license, so it was like, please take the cell phone and da 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 da. So like I had one and had access to them. I remember them, but my first cell phone that I bought on my own plan and whatnot was not a bag phone. No.
I remember getting an $800 bill, Cellular One.
Oh yeah.
That's where I learned about nights and weekends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Yep. Ridiculous. Stronger spice,
Yes.
but really, really separation when it comes to the creaminess and smoothness. Unless you're retrohaling, then you get the spice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not getting as much transition with this one.
No.
It's more consistent.
Yep, that's a good point. Yep. Awesome. Nelson, give us a news tidbit.
Yeah.
Everybody, stop the press. Listen, Nelson has news.
Here's some news. I don't even know where to begin. Taxes, and more taxes. We know taxes are killing, especially I think New York is one of the worst, but Colorado also one of the highest tax rates in the country, just increased their tax rate again. So the average cigar, they were charging 40% on the wholesale price. They now upped that January 1st to 50%. So basically today, if you're paying, what's the example I have here, $13.30 for a cigar, that's now going to be $14.25. But that's not it, Colorado, because in 2024 it's going to go up to 56% of the wholesale price, and then again to 60% in 2027. So by 2027, that $13 cigar is costing you almost $16.
Okay, so $3 more per cigar. Cool, got it. New York is what, 74, 75, John? What's New York? It just changed.
I don't think anyone comes
75%.
close.
75%?
Yeah, no one comes close to New York, right?
No, not true.
Oh.
Not true. Not
worse?
not true. Definitely. Clearly you don't listen to Stogie Geeks.
Not today.
No, clearly you don't listen to Stogie Geeks. I have said this multiple times on the show. There's a cigar company that grew out of the most taxed region that I know of. So we're going to get to that story too. What do you think, John? What's the most?
If I'm not mistaken, Vermont's like 92%.
Yep, Vermont's 92,
Holy
and
cow.
Minnesota's 96. And Crux Cigars is out of Minnesota.
Maroon.
So you've had Crux, CRUX?
I've had Crux,
Yeah, Crux. Yeah, we've interviewed them on the show. Super cool dudes. The I've met the originator of Blender, Master Blender there. Having a total brain fart. I apologize. I'm going back in the 2015 arena there. But yeah, he owned a cigar shop at the time, probably still does. But yeah, tax is higher. It's in the 90s.
Shit.
And they do it out of there. And I know it's different if you're distribution and all of that stuff. But like, yeah, it's Minnesota's like in the middle and the north, right? Yeah. So yeah, Minnesota and then Vermont are the highest. Just going from memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have New York.
You go to our neighbors to the north, Canada's even worse. It's over 100%.
Oh yeah. And that's gonna come soon. Like
here to the US?
Well, no. No, I'm not talking about like the Canadian versus that. I'm talking about like higher taxes. Especially with states local, right? All politics is local, okay? It starts at local, right? You vote locally.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's the local, right? You know, they're going to be looking for ways to capture revenue, right? And how do you capture revenue? Now, we're fortunate here in the state of Rhode Island where we have a cap tax here at 50 cents. So each stick is capped at 50 cents. Connecticut's the same. Massachusetts is not. It's still 42 or 48%. 40. Okay. Yep. See. So, you know, you know, I would expect like Massachusetts. Now I know that some retailers had fought in Massachusetts to try to do a cap tax and whatnot. Why would they? Right? If you're Snickers and you're charging $1.50 for a candy bar, making the price up, and now it's taxed at 30 cents a piece because, you know, there's an obesity tax or something like that. Try not to give any politicians any ideas, right? But if there's an obesity tax and whatnot, the Snickers is still going to get his $1.50, right? And then you have the tax, and guess what? Consumers are going to pay more. Getting to your point, that $16 cigar is now $19. Consumers are going to pay. I mean, if you don't believe me, all you do is look at the cigarette tax, right? Rhode Island, I believe it's $4.50 a pack. Just in the state of Rhode Island, 2 years ago, went from $4.25 to $4.50. Now we went to, when I say we, I mean the premium industry of premium cigar industry, cigar retailers of Rhode Island went to the hearing because there was also a effort to take our cap tax and go from 50 to 80, which was on the board there, right? We stayed at 50, but the cigarette tax went from $4.25 to $4.50 here in Rhode Island. Why am I bringing this up? When we all spoke in front of the legislature to plead our cases, like there were retail stores talking about like cigarettes and lottery are the lead-in. It's not the gas of the gas station.
Wow.
So more people, and they had the numbers, and to me it was a fascinating time because it's like the numbers like 60 or 80, not 80, like 60 or 70% of the consumers stop at the gas station for stop at the gas station for cigarettes and lottery.
But I think the original point you were making was that regardless of the cigarette taxes going up, they're still buying it.
Of course they are.
Right.
Of course they are. That's my point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's my point. Was I not making my point? Probably wasn't making my point. What else is new?
Well, we get the lottery and cigarettes.
No, because I wanted to prove that consumer behavior is not going to be influenced by tax. And that's where I think a lot of retailer. Now, there will be some who say, "Oh no." But like at the end of the day, you want your cigar.
Well, you know,
you need your cigarette. You know
but do you think, and if we go down a rabbit hole, Joe, shut me up, but do you think, will it change? Granted, yes, let's say we all agree they're going to keep smoking cigars, right? But do they pivot to lower price cigars now? Because maybe the ones they were buying are too high. Because I'm wondering if that's what happened with the cigarette industry, right? Did they go from, hey, I'm buying Marlboros to I'm buying, you know, I don't know what a crappy cigarette brand is. But
I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I got you.
Walmart cigarettes, you know?
Sure.
I don't know. Like, I'm wondering if that would happen to the industry.
Oh, it does.
It does. It does for some consumer. Remember, consumer behavior, and I want to get to this on a sales point with John, maybe in the next stick, about how, like, some sticks go hot, and then they go cold. It's like a freaking horse, right? This horse is ready to win the Preakness, and then all of a sudden the freaking horse gets in the mud and stops and doesn't move, right? Right? We'll get to that type of consumer behavior. But consumer behavior gets judged in buckets, right? They call it economies of scale, right? For if you want to get analytical about it, right? And there will be some who will say, you know something, I used to smoke this Diamond Crown, but now I'm going to switch to whatever version that they might be. It might be within the JC Newman portfolio, or I'm used to smoking this Placencia, or I'm used to smoking this, Alec Bradley, right? But I'm going to switch there. And I think it's tough because the company has to make a decision to play the tax game, right? If it's raised by $3, do I lower my price by 50 cents, make less, go there for the retail? Like, all those come into play. But at the end of the day, the consumer's going to want what they want. Maybe they'll go to those, but then maybe they'll say, hey, well, instead of having two, I'll just have one a day.
Right.
And then they did it.
It's just economics.
It does affect the retailer, but I think as consumers, we make choices like that all the time. And because of online, not the ability to purchase online, but the ability to be educated online, we make those decisions a heck of a lot faster. Let's get back to this before we go down any more of a rabbit hole. Not as much transition. Would you agree?
This thing has been consistent throughout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. John,
Still,
any thoughts on this you want to share?
Well, again, I think because it's the Viso leaf, lower on the plant, going to have it's going to burn a little better. But it's also going to have different flavor characteristics than the first.
Yep. You still getting pepper?
I'm getting pepper throughout. Not strong.
Not as strong as the first one.
No, not as strong.
So we're categorizing this. Good. Okay, we are in agreement with that. The dryness is not as relevant in this stick 2 than stick 1, but it has an element of dryness. Would you agree or no? Disagree? You getting that?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm not finding this one too dry, honestly.
Okay.
I do like that there's this subtle creaminess still there. It's like a blend of as far as flavors go, I'm getting the pepper and the cream almost at the same level together. Mm-hmm. It's good. I'm with Joe. I want to buy one. I want to buy a 5-pack of these.
Right.
Stogie Geeks rating. Get a 5.
Right. With this component there, a lot of your portfolio has.
We have a lot of tobacco from Trojas Valley, yeah.
Yep. You want to name some stuff off the top of your head that year? Okay.
He's not giving a shit today.
Why? You don't want to
We like to let the cigars stand on their own and not be have the where it's from being a crutch. Where some people might say, I don't like Trojas. A perfect example, San Andres Maduro. Mm-hmm. There are people who love it. There are people who don't like it. And if you identify yourself as a San Andres Maduro, you're going to take a certain percentage of your market away. If you turn around and say, well, this is a sun-grown, and all of a sudden, it takes that with the people who say, I don't like Maduro.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we haven't really talked about strength.
Okay.
As far as comparing to this is definitely a little stronger for me than the first one.
Yes. The first one was more entertaining.
Yeah, it was more interesting. There's definitely more. It was a bigger journey than this one, but I would smoke this again. But the other one definitely had more to offer.
Right. Okay. I like it.
So now.
Oh, we're going on. John's moving us along. Johnny and Goose love it. Okay, we're moving on.
So now you're going to take.
Hold on. I'm going to take a sip of Bloody Mary and then cleanse my palate. Hold on. No, go ahead, John.
You're going to take 1 and 2. Hold them together.
Okay.
Kind of like if you're
like a culebra.
Okay,
if,
so
yeah,
this is
if
so for the purposes of demonstration, this is done.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can go back to the.
Oh, so now we're doing 1 and 2. We're not doing 1, 2, and 3.
We're going to do 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. Wow, I'm getting.
This is my party.
It's his show.
All right. I would have. See, this is why I don't do blending seminars. I would have done this totally differently. Let's smoke 3 first. I
Wait.
like 3.
So we're lighting these two together?
No, you can light 1 and 1, however you feel comfortable. Come on, dude. It's like a come on. So you never did this when you were a kid. So 1 and 2 together. Are we gonna get to analyze 3 by itself?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. If not, I was just gonna say, okay, we're gonna pause. I'm gonna analyze 3 then. Cool. Oh wow! Whoa. Okay, hold on.
Very interesting.
Hold on. I am not talented, Joe. How'd you guys do that?
There's the pepper.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Well, all right.
Well,
It's not just you,
you're
Joe.
rookies.
All right. Okay. Holy pepper.
Right?
Oh wow. Whoa. That like if you watch that on video, you literally saw me jump up like out of my seat. Holy
Definitely
pepper.
some strength there.
Dude, we're talking eye-watering pepper. Like they got me. Like I jumped up, I jolted like that.
I wasn't expecting that,
I was
especially after
not ex-
smoking the first 2.
I was not expecting that, John. Okay, let's all right, let me grab onto my seat.
Buckle up.
Okay. We've gone from zesty to zingy. Like
Definitely.
complete up, let's say upgrade. Complete what is it? Like what are those things in math? Exponents?
Exponentially.
Thank you. That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. Dude, we've upgraded here. This is getting complex.
And it's the cigar becomes the sum of its parts.
Yes.
And you can, and with just smoking the 2 together, now you can see how it changes.
I think I'm more surprised at the lack of creaminess based on what I was just smoking.
Yeah.
I'm not really
Yeah.
getting any creaminess with this. You okay?
Me, I'm okay.
I was looking at your eyes.
Oh yeah, I'm a officer. I swear, it was a premium cigar. Ooh,
Oh, there's.
lemon. What? We just gonna say that?
I was gonna say fruity. I wasn't gonna say lemon. I
like
wasn't gonna say
frickin-
lemon.
Did you ever get lemon in your seminar? Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I
okay.
like some sweetness just came through.
Yeah, getting a little bit of lemon, a lot bit of lemon. No floral yet. The pepper is jolted, but not as high as the first one.
Are you getting more pepper on the retro?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, same here.
Retro, like
Same here.
honestly, you would when I lit this up and did my first puff when I was organized it together, like you literally, you saw me jump out.
Yeah.
Like I was like, whoa.
Well, that's what I said. I'm
I
like,
just
whoa,
didn't expect
it's
it.
Definitely pepper.
Yeah, a lot of pepper. Yeah, a lot of pepper. Super cool. Pepper and lemon.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know if I got. I'm trying not to let you get in my head with the lemon.
I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Promise?
No. No. Wow.
Okay, so we're
What are we doing now?
gonna stop these 2.
Zesty.
Are we going
Stop
back to these two?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, I kind of want to
yeah,
continue.
keep going.
All right,
Yeah. But now we're gonna go to 3.
okay.
3 is again from the Trojos Valley. It's Lieto.
Little. I still get that pepper. I still got that pepper in my mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh. Different.
You gotta sell these separately.
Oh, very hold on. I'm hoping it's not the soda water.
Okay. More spice on palate than retrohale for me. But let me double check that. Hold on. Nope. It's still got a good pepper.
Definitely pepper.
Yeah, definitely pepper.
Almost around the whole.
Yes.
tongue.
Yep. Definitely. This is just straight Lajero.
Straight Lajero. This is just one leaf. Purito.
Wow.
That's like all I'm getting is pepper.
I can see where this is coming together. Well, it is called a blending seminar, Captain Obvious.
Right.
No, I can see where this is going.
I think I'm waiting for something else to come in.
Yeah, so having burned through all three, the first one was more transitional, just to recap.
Agreed.
Zest, well, pepper or spice, a zest, and then a floral. And then going back to a little bit of a zest and pepper. So more transition. Second one, consistent and creamy and pepper. And third,
All right, this is the best way I can describe what I'm getting. Campfire.
yeah.
I'm getting like campfire right now.
Yeah.
And I've heard of that, but I've never really understood. I'm getting campfire.
Yeah. Yeah. And
This I want more of. This is really good.
definitely. So, John, while we're indulging in this, right? Because we just want to sit here and
I know.
right? We're just enjoying this too much.
There is a show here.
Right. What do you do as a sales rep? And what have you done, obviously, over the past 20 change years that you've been in the industry? Like, and I know this is like the secret sauce of like a sales rep, right? You have one blend, people love it. Your retailers call you up and say, hey, I know I ordered 10 boxes, but I need 5 more of X, right? Whatever X is, as time goes on, X always changes its component, right? Which one it is, it's hot. The customers love it. When you see the customers, they're giving you high fives. We love it. The retailer, John, I love it. It's great. Send me more. And without any rhyme or reason, that ride's over. Like, I'm sure that's happened throughout your whole 20 years, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So that whole concept of bringing that and doing that there, like, how do you go through those obstacles? Because I think that would be the biggest challenge as a sales rep, trying to find a balance of what goes in.
In the car deal, in the car business, they say there's an ass for every seat. And same thing in the cigar business. There's a blend for every smoker. And a lot of times when a blend is hot, when a blend is new, it encompasses everybody.
Yes.
But eventually, the tide, as the water lowers, it seeks its own level, and you do always have customers for those cigars that were hot a year ago. But you now have to hope that the company is doing enough work in research and development to come up with something that's going to replace that particular cigar. There are some cigars that just sell. I mean, look at when I started in this industry, there were a quarter of the manufacturers there are today.
Correct.
But General Cigar is still selling Hoyo de Monterey's. Altadis is still selling Romeo 1875s and H. Upmans. Sure, they've all had brand extensions,
Right.
but that core brands, those cores are just smoked by a lot of people. You don't necessarily see it happening in cigar stores where it's in many cases it's what's new and exciting, but you see it happening in liquor stores, in convenience stores with humidors, where that's the cigar that bread and butter cigar is what's selling in those maybe non-traditional smoke shops.
Okay. Yeah, I'm following you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they do have their call line, and that is super important. You have a call line over there.
Sure.
Alec Bradley. Let's take some time and talk about that unless we need to transition out of.
No,
and
we
continue.
can.
You got a couple more minutes on that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I want to talk about some of the call lines because I think it's very important for Stogie Geek listeners to understand that it's natural for us to really like something in 2019 and not be. It's a natural thing, and for a consumer to like really want this, and this was my 2019 choice, whatever, and then I'm kind of over it. Is their palate going stale? If you have filet mignon every day, and then you go to a nice steak restaurant, it won't be as nice than if you go to like a really nice restaurant and have it there.
Or has it evolved?
Or that's a great question too, right? Has the industry, with the influx of more blends, brands, collaboration, regions, factories coming out, the boutique revolution, as I like to dub it, the Nicaraguan boom, as I like to dub it, the influx, the demand for the cigar consumer to want more and more Nicaraguan there, from a consumer standpoint, like it's a natural thing to want to transition. So it always drove me crazy when you meet the one guy, a gal in a shop. I only smoke X, and that's that. It's
Yeah,
like,
it happens all the
it's like,
time.
dude, or chica, you're denying yourself of much pleasure.
Right?
Well, I went on a diet a few years ago and decided I was going to try keto. And one of the things about keto was I could have all of the meat and cheese and bacon and everything I wanted. And so for breakfast, it would be 2 Egg McMuffins without the McMuffin.
Gotcha.
The thought of eating an Egg McMuffin without the McMuffin right now turns my stomach, because you reach a point where it just they don't there's no satisfaction eating them. The taste gets on your nerves.
It gets old.
And it gets old. Right now, if you're a cigar smoker, you are smoking the best cigars that have ever been rolled in the history of this industry.
Even with the staple companies in there.
Even with the staple companies, the collaborations, as you mentioned before. AJ Fernandez is doing things with Altadis, and Jesus Fuego is doing things with Alec Bradley, and it's a different set of eyes. It's a different set of taste buds. It's a different mentality that goes along with these different companies, with these different blenders, and they bring an excitement to the industry that we really didn't have during the first cigar boom.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the cigar boom. And John's an OG. We can get some answers on that. Is it time to transition? And I'm only asking because I'm even on sticks.
Well, yeah, let's take 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Oh. My 3 shorter now.
Well, now that's why I gave you 2. I was timed it. I knew where John was going now because there's less choices.
Wow, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I know. That's what all my critics say. Alrighty.
This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, if I don't burn my freaking fingers trying to light it, but that's good. Okay. I think I'm good. I hope I'm good. Am I good?
What's the technique for holding 3 cigarellos?
John can do it. And
I know.
John does it in one hand. Nelson and I. For those of you watching, they're like, yeah, John's the OG, man. He's just like, yo, this is it.
Look at Joe.
I feel like I'm about like reefer madness.
Joe's two-handing these suckers right now.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh, you guys are smart. You guys are wicked smart. Gotcha.
Now, I don't know about you, and I know how much you guys like the burritos, but this tastes like a cigar.
Wow. Now my palate's like normal, not saying normalized, but it's to what I've expected, right? And so, not as much pepper because
No.
it's balancing out.
Definitely not as much pepper.
Floral's kicking in scotch, right? Because now we're at that point of that halfway
Yep.
point of that number one
Yep.
stick. The floral's kicking in. I could see that's where your transition would come from. Your zestiness would come from stick 1 and 2 in this example.
I'm getting the creaminess again.
Yeah,
Subtle, not strong, but
right.
I think I was expecting more pepper.
Yeah, it's
Not good or
balancing
bad. I think I was just expecting more.
Well, you got to get it good, but the retrohale, well, the other stuff's balancing it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So blenders know that what the what this little stick here, the preferito, ow,
Purito.
Purito is the component of pepper that they're getting will eventually level out when they blend it all together.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Have you noticed there's a ton of smoke, too?
I've noticed that throughout.
Yeah. Well, you have a lighter. It's not as tightly packed. That's one of the reasons there, right? You're going to get more of an influx. It's not as tightly rolled there. And, yeah, it's coming together nicely. How are you guys doing it with one hand?
I don't know, but the thumbnail for this episode should be Joe holding 3 cigars like a ham and cheese sandwich.
Yeah, you get a lot more smoke, a little bit less pepper, but now it's balanced out. Getting that
There's
zestiness.
something else I'm trying to figure out what it is.
You're getting that creaminess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the zest. I'm definitely getting the zest.
Yep. This has certainly been an eye-opening experiment.
I'm going to be surprised to hear what this ends up being because, I mean, I haven't smoked every Alec Bradley, but I don't think I've smoked this Alec Bradley because I think I'd remember this. Oh, wow.
And so all of these 3 are in this one.
Right.
Wow.
I wonder how it'll compare, the ham sandwich style to a fully hand-rolled cigar.
And sandwich might taste better.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm kind of going with that, but because you got to remember, as they're separate. Whoa! I feel like I'm on like a freaking episode of Reefer Madness over here. Right? As they're separate, they're aging or relaxing or curing, whatever adjective you want to use, right? Or verb, right? In that matter, in their own separate element.
So
Then with that, like that's how like maybe some cigars, if you age them a lot, they can age out. You know what I mean?
I'm going to take some liberties here.
Oh, Nelson's getting all even.
Yeah, I'm going to make them even. Here we go.
Is it time to go for the big stick?
Oh, family show.
yeah.
Is it? Wow.
Well, I don't know. We have any more news?
Oh,
Who invited this guy?
oh, yeah. That's a great point.
I really like this. I'm really hoping the whole combination comes out like this.
It better.
This is freaking good.
Okay. Give us some news, Nelson.
Well, I thought this is actually a quick little discussion we can have. So, Tobacco Business Magazine did surveys of retailers throughout the country in 2020, and I just pulled out some stats I thought was interesting, and I'd like to get Joe's, and John, you're from the industry, so we'd definitely like to get your thoughts on it too. So, they asked, how would you describe your store's 2020 sales performance, right? So, was there an increase in sales, decrease in sales, stagnant, flat sales? So, which category you think had the most?
Well, just sticks or cigar bars?
Cigars.
Okay, just cigars. Just cigars, I would say up.
Up, yeah.
Up, yeah. If they're just doing the point of purchase of just premium cigars, definitely up because of consumer behavior. You have a lockdown. I want to buy more. I'm not traveling on family vacation, so I have disposable income. I would say up all day with that. Overall business model, if you include alcohol and foot traffic and all of that, I would say down.
No.
But if you're talking just sticks, I would say they've experienced an increase of stick sales.
And we've been talking about this on the show for a few months at least that I know of. What's the impact of the pandemic and all that, and it's 85% stayed flat or went up. 70% of that was up. There was an increase in sales. So that speaks volumes, and I think one of the things we talked about on the show is there's more cigar smokers that were created in 2020 than in the last few years. And I think it's for the reasons Joe just outlined. You gonna be all right?
No, do 1 and 3.
Oh, you changed it up?
Well, yeah, I gotta,
1 and 3. All right, here we go. Nelson, 1 and 3. Mid news.
It's called Stogie Geeks, not John Troiano Geeks. No, I gotta.
Oh yeah,
this is the jam.
This is a completely different cigar.
Again, Thule header leaves.
Oh wow,
do that retro ale.
That's like all pepper. So.
Yeah. Oh my God!
All right, here we go.
Holy cow, that was awesome. Okay, continue with your story. I'm sorry.
Right. Next one. There's only 3. Which cigar brand is the most popular in your store?
Retail store.
Oof. Just brand, not stick. Brand.
Yeah. Brand. Considering that not all shops are smart enough to carry Arturo Fuente, Padron, or Davidoff, I'd have to go with Drew.
Okay, John.
Well, I know I've read a bunch of different other studies, and I'd probably go with Fuente or Padron.
Okay, Drew Estate number 1. No.
Booyah.
Yeah. Padron number 2. Perdomo number 3, and Arturo Fuente was number 4. Oliva came in 5th.
Yeah. See, like I said, I based it on not all shops go for that buy-in of Padron.
Yeah.
And not all shops.
And Fuente.
And well, not so much for Fuente because they kind of be
get them when you get them.
You get them when you get them. And not all shops, at least here in the Northeast that I know of, do a Davidoff buy-in. So, actually shocked that Davidoff didn't even play in the top 5.
Not even there.
Not shocked at Perdomo. Perdomo does extremely well in retailers.
But the same reason you gave for Padron and Fuente, isn't that even more true of Davidoff?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
That, a lot of places either don't carry them or they don't bother carrying them. I don't think Davidoff is because they don't bother carrying them. I think it's just the cost of carrying them.
Mm-hmm. Or the barrier to entry. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, last one. What is the most popular cigar size sold in your store?
It has to be. There has to be either Toro or Gordo, but I think probably Toro then Gordo. If it were me, I'm a Robusto, as I've expressed there. But if I was, it has to be Toro. Toro, John, what would you sell the most of?
Toro.
Yeah, Toro. Yeah. Toro is my final answer.
Toro number 1. Robusto was number 2. Gordo number 3. So you hit on Gordo.
Really?
Yeah.
Gordo number. I'm sure. Well, okay. Yeah.
Only 11% of the store. Over 60% of the stores said Toro's their number one.
Okay, yeah. So Toro number one, and then Robusto Gordo. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm shocked at the Robusto being even a player in that.
Well, wasn't Robusto the number one size like back in the 90s?
Oh, we're gonna get to the boom when we talk about this. Let's.
All right.
Well,
can we get to this? No, there's time.
when I first started in the industry, I had Fairfield County as part of my territory, and the number one selling cigar in Fairfield County was the Robusto. And the reason being, gentleman parked his car at the train station, walked into the newsstand, wanted a cigar for lunchtime, picked up a Robusto because that's the amount of time he had to have it.
That's why you like it, Joe, right?
Yeah, I like it because of convenience.
And also, on the way home, he stopped in. If he didn't have one at lunchtime, he stopped in because his drive home was going to be able to afford him the ability to smoke a Robusto.
Yeah, yeah. I that's a good point too. I like Robustos for taste, right? I'm not a Gordo guy at all. I have smoked them obviously in there, but I've never been on that kick. But the Robusto flavor wise for me is where it's at with that smaller engage. But yeah, Toro. But I that's a good point too in the boom where people, I remember lunchtime. Like I remember having a smoking jacket because I worked for corporate, and I didn't want to, and I would have a separate blazer that I wore every day when I smoked, right? Because when you work in corporate and cubicle land, you take off your blazer, you put it on the back of your chair, and then you go. But I would have a smoking jacket.
Are there pictures of this somewhere?
Yeah, in the trunk of my car. Yeah, I would have a smoking jacket. No, I'd have a smoking jacket in the summertime in New England. You go out and you smoke, and then you're chilling.
That's when you could smoke.
And then you smoke or whatever, and then you take it off, and then you put on your other jacket, and you're golden. You know what I mean? I don't know, just different things you pick up on and whatnot. I wish people bring back the smoking jacket, but that's another episode.
Totally. I keep changing my configurations with these, by the way.
John, is this next on the?
This is it.
This is it.
So grand finale.
The reveal.
Now, one of the things I stress.
No, hold on, quiet. I got it from here. Cotton light. No, I'm only kidding. God.
One of the things I stress when I'm doing these at cigar stores.
Please note, I use my Alec Bradley cutter. By the way, I think they did an excellent job on the design. Very 50s retro. I think whoever designed this watches Stogie Geeks and says, I want to make a lighter that's, a cutter that represents Joe's 50s lifestyle, and they did that. No, I'm only kidding.
So anyhow,
Moving on.
One of the things I stress when I'm doing these at cigar stores is, put that lighter down.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's like school.
John Show.
You've decided you're going to take an hour of your life to enjoy the cigar. Mm-hmm. And there's no reason in the world to rush it. So I tell everybody, when you cut the cigar, cold draw. Taste the tobacco before it's been lit. Taste the tobacco on the tip of your tongue to get that flavor. It's not. We're not in a hurry.
Correct. I do usually. I promise.
You could tell a lot about a cigar in the cold draw. And
very true.
I promise you, anybody listening, I promise them, if you do this regularly on all the different blends and manufacturers of cigars that you smoke, you will be able to find, if someone gives you a cigar from someone you've never heard of and you've never smoked it before, after you cut it and you cold draw and you taste the tobacco to the tip of your tongue, you'll have a pretty good idea before anything happens whether you're going to enjoy that cigar or not.
Really? Can you elaborate on that once we light this? I'm serious. Because when I do a review, I do cut it. I'm excited to get to the finish line, right? Not because
Yeah,
of
that's what your
programming.
girlfriend told us.
Yeah, I know, right? Just because like, and I normally put it in my mouth, do that, get the computer set up, get things set up,
Yeah.
and then do whatever it is that I do, and I do slow down. I was just like, I had that fresh in my mind, and I'm sorry. I apologize,
Okay.
John, for I have sinned.
Apology accepted.
But I do want to you to get into that a little bit after we light this
Sure.
up, because I'd like to hear that description. I think that'd be very educational from an OG.
So I'm getting spices on the cold draw and some pepper, but I don't know if it's the pepper from what I was just smoking or from the cold draw.
True. Do you get in a little like berry, maybe like a sweetness?
Dried fruit?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Can we light it now?
Permission to light, Mr. Troiano.
The smoking lamp is lit.
Let's do it. Oh yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, John.
Now, all three components that you smoked are in this cigar. What I want you to look at,
Retro's there. Right, do the retro. Right.
blow
right.
on the lid on the foot. And I don't know if you can see it, but you can see little tubes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of our cigars are rolled entubado. So we take the leaves, roll them in a tube, and then bunch those tubes together when we put the binder on. And so what happens is you're going to get a much more uniform draw, and the experience is going to be a lot better.
So this is more similar to the three we were smoking than I expected. I'm definitely getting a little off the rip here. I'm getting more creamy than I did with the three.
This cigar is available on the market.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm just, you know.
20 questions.
Well, no. It's
Trying
like,
to get to
we discontinued it 6 years ago.
All right.
By the way, this is done. Okay, and the show is over. We're gonna awesome. Okay, so this is readily available today.
Yep.
I bet you once are we gonna know by the end of this episode what it is?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. I was hoping. Can Nelson and I guess before we go there?
Of course.
Okay, cool. It's available in this shape.
Yep.
Okay.
In a Toro.
All right. Corey. Okay. So flavor diagnosis, you're getting that punchy pepper right there. I do get that lingering flavor hanging around, right? Picking up that zesty. Floral bouquet hasn't come in quite
No.
yet, but
I'm not
sure
getting
it
any
will.
floral.
I'm sure it will. For the sake of you watching, we're not going to burn through this whole cigar. We're just going to.
That would make for a long show.
That would make for a long show, but we're just going to. When we cut to Mike and do that, we're going to sit and enjoy and continue our conversation. But I just want to let you know that for those of you who have been patiently watching for the last hour and 20 something minutes, it's not going to be another 2 hours for us to finish this show. There, just a quick programming note.
Now, one of the things I was going that we've done in the past is I've taken a razor blade and scored the wrapper and then peeled off about the first 3/8 of an inch of the wrapper.
Yes.
Now, years ago, there was a store in Providence. Friday nights were somebody brought a bottle of scotch in, and we'd sit around for hours smoking cigars and talking about cigars. And it was suggested by the manager that we do that just to see how the flavor, how the wrapper affects the flavor of the whole cigar. So again, cutting off that 3/8 of an inch or so, when you were first smoking, you were smoking filler and binder. And then when it hit the wrapper, the whole profile changed.
Changed, yeah.
40 to 60% of the flavor of a cigar comes from the wrapper. We also used to sit down with a calculator and a legal pad and try to figure out how does the thickness of a cigar change the flavor. There's two functions for a circular cigar, and that surface area, which is part of what you're smoking, and the circumference of the cigar, that's part of what you're smoking. The circumference of the cigar is where you get the flavor of the wrapper. The surface area is where you get the flavor of the binder, of the filler. To get technical, it's the difference between pi r square and pi d. When you graph it, the surface area changes logarithmically compared to the diameter. So
I really feel like I've been smoking some reefer.
I wish I could Google this right now.
No.
So as the cigar gets fatter,
Is this bullshit?
no.
Okay. No. All right. That's
As
cool.
the cigar gets fatter, the amount of flavor from the wrapper declines
Yep.
compared to the filler and binder.
And you figured this out mathematically?
Yeah, we used to sit down after half a bottle of scotch.
That's a true Stogie geek right
Nice,
there.
dude. Nice.
You getting citrus on this now?
Yes.
I'm getting citrus.
Yeah. It does smoke differently though, than all three together.
Yeah. But I mean, it's constructed differently too.
And also the tobaccos have had an opportunity to marry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What do we guess?
Well, we have to talk about the boom.
I don't have a guess yet.
And then we have to talk about some news, Nelson. You have more news? Let's do news and then boom, and then we'll do some final wrap ups on this, and then and that'll be the show. I think it's awesome, and then we'll guess.
Well, and there's a reveal, right?
Yeah.
Smoke In has the Great Smoke coming out. The Great Smoke 2021. They do this every year. Obviously, as other events, it's going to be virtual, although they are going to have a small studio audience. Very, very. I think the tickets are actually sold out, but it takes place February 20th. It's a cool event. There's someone, Steve Saka's there, Melanie Cisco from, well, she's not really from anything. She's like a Fuente influencer, I guess. What? Go ahead.
No.
Oh. Okay. And and a cast of other folks that are going to be attending there. They keep updating the site with who's going to be there. They also have entertainment that's going to be there. They have comedians. They have magicians. It's 8 hours of virtual smoking event.
That's cool.
There is a side event, which I wish I was in Florida. Steve Saka is going to be doing a barbecue down in Florida for the event. And he has the Meat Lovers cigar, so he's going to be doing a Meat Lovers barbecue with ribs and steaks. It's like, I forget how much it is, like $100-something
Sure.
to attend. Good times. But you can get your quote-unquote ticket for the virtual event. It's $169 for the ticket. It includes a huge swag bag. It's over $425 value. There's 40 cigars in there, including Alec Bradley. That's in there as well. You get a cap, a swag, a humidor. You get all kinds of stuff. So that's coming up. You can go to thesmokein.com to check that out. But it's a pretty cool smoking event that's taking place while we're not really having events. So something different.
Yeah, I think virtual events are a thing, and they are going to be a thing. Working in cybersecurity field, 8 hours of content on a daily basis is pretty easy. Johnny, our producer, and Gustavo, our producer, assistant producer, I don't know if he has a title yet, can tell you that we do that on a quarterly basis anyway here at Security Weekly. And yeah, you have to have the different entertaining components, different things to get people going. But I think what's super cool is they get a bag of whatever the swag bag is. Everybody gets the same thing. People can smoke, talk about it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
and be a good experience for people to do.
Yeah, you'd get it if you actually attended the event, but they still offer it so you can do it virtually and you still get the bag.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that virtual will be a thing through at least Q3 of next year, if not
Next year.
Well, I'm sorry, I keep them. We're in.
Yeah.
With the 9 more months,
Right.
Sure. 9 more months next year. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And I wonder what events are going to look like. Not so much events that like you would attend to. You know, they have 50, 60, 70, 80 people. They're spaced out accordingly, etc. But like cons, like concerts, different things. I don't know. Like
Vegas is going to be out a lot of money.
well, not a lot of businesses are going to be out because you have the spillover effect of businesses that benefit off of people who go, you know, like you think about it. Like, for example, here in Rhode Island, the Providence Bruins, Boston Bruins affiliate is now moving up to Marlboro, place up to Marlboro there and whatnot. And like, you know, people who would go to a game would go to a restaurant after the game. Maybe they would go to a cigar shop. Maybe they would go to a bar. Maybe they'd spend money, make an evening of it, et cetera, et cetera. And now that goes away. You just go to the specific event. Even though the virtual event or the event itself can make money, but the spillover effect of stuff doesn't,
Right.
and that's going to be detrimental
It's a
to
shame, yeah.
a lot of businesses as well. John, let's talk about the boom. How was that? Like,
You
Like-
lived it.
like I mean, when I was in the industry as a retailer, I was extreme tail end of boom, and it was a boom. Not gonna lie, like crazy boom. Buying cigars out of trash bags, because sales reps were delivering them that way. Like it was like Santa Claus. Like when I say trash bags, I just want to give you a visual. Like they would just have all the bags and just freaking boom. And because reps sold cigars out of their cars,
Absolutely.
all vehicles, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you remember doing that, right?
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So take us. So I'm not off my rocker when you know you order 40 boxes. They're not going to just and they were individual. They were still cellophaned, but they would just throw them in a trash bag and hand them in there, and then you could just go and cut
So
your check.
did you come in, Joe? I know he's going to take us through the journey, but did you come in the middle of the boom or right before the boom? So you saw the boom start.
Right before the boom ended. Like
Okay.
the boom was on.
So you got to experience it. Yeah.
Experience a little bit of it and whatnot and whatnot. But it was a different time and atmosphere. But I want you, instead of hearing my stories over and over again, I want you to get John's perspective on it because I mean, obviously, he's boots on the ground sales rep. Although it was for a different company, concept and sales is still the same. Take us through that.
Well, I started kind of in a ancillary business. I was selling matchbooks and matchboxes, and I had all the cigar stores in New England, and a number of my customers said to me, "You should be selling cigars. You're real good. We really enjoyed working with you." And I said, "Well, yeah. How do you do it? You know, how do you get an interview?" And one of the companies was interviewing, and went on the interview. I didn't get hired. So, okay. Went back to what I was doing, but in the meantime, one of my customers in Boston was having a restaurant was having a cigar dinner, and they invited me. They said, "Hey, you're one of our best reps. We want you to come in." And I said, "Well, I don't smoke cigars." No, come on, have a good time. It's the best menu of the year. So I went, had a few beers, had a big bag of cigars. I said, "Oh, let me give it a try. What the heck?" First cigar I ever smoked was a little boutique cigar out of Miami, Moore and Baudet, Connecticut mild cigar, and I fell in love with it. I couldn't believe how great it was. And having a somewhat of a personality that gets, when you do things, I jump in with both feet. I went into every cigar store now and buying cigars and trying them. And it was tremendous. Just so happens about 3 months after that company rejected me, they called me up and said, "Hey, we have that opening happened again because the rep that took it is going to take another territory. We want you to cover New England for us." And it was just a blast. I mean, you went into every different place. as you said, we sold out of the trunk of the car. We had display units with tubes, and we had wooden boxes with tubes. And you'd go into a convenience store. Hey, do you sell cigars? No. Well, how would you like to get in the business? And he'd say, okay. You'd say, here. And taxes at the time, Rhode Island didn't have a tobacco tax. Massachusetts didn't have a tobacco tax.
Wow.
Connecticut didn't have a tobacco tax.
Holy
so
cow.
you could just say, here, give me $95. Give you the money, and then you have to pay for it, send a check to the company to pay for it. After you sold, I don't know, 10 or 12, they would ship you cases of cigars. The biggest thing was back orders, and like anything else, you had to manage it. You had to make sure you took care of your customers. And I was at the second Orlando show that was held in the Marriott World Trade Center basement, for lack of a better word, the convention center.
Because they, at the time, they couldn't do a whole floor. Like you wouldn't, when they had the big cons, there wouldn't be enough volume to like do like the grand ballroom or whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It was just it was their convention center.
And what year are we talking here? What decade?
I want to say 97 or 98, and we're in there, and everybody's having a good time, and people are writing orders and back and forth, and somebody walked in with a Newsweek magazine, and the cigar boom was on the cover, and I looked at it, threw the magazine on the table. I said, "That's over." Everybody said to me, "You're crazy. We're going to grow. We're going to grow. We're going to grow." I said, "Hits the cover of Newsweek. Hits the cover of Time. It's done."
Ride's over.
It's drawing attention.
Yeah. It's well, ride's over for a couple of reasons, right? It's tax free. Well,
Not anymore.
Tobacco tax. It's tobacco taxed less. It's not tax free entirely. It's tobacco taxed less.
And let's face it, most trends start on both coasts, and they work their way into the middle. And when it hits Middle America is when Newsweek or Time realizes it, and they put it on the cover. So that was in August. A couple of people bailed after that, and then slowly but surely I could see business was slowing. I heard there was an opportunity with one of the top 3 companies in the industry. Put out some feelers, and got an interview, got the job, and I was there for 18 years. But by that time, the boom was pretty much over, and now we were going to stores and trying to move inventory around from one store to another because somebody might have been heavy on Upman's but light on something else, so we would move the cigars around.
So what are you thinking about now, like last 5 years, last year, seeing what you saw before? Do you see any signs of that coming back?
Not really. When the boom happened, everybody was totally unprepared for it, or at least all the manufacturers were. And they were getting salesmen from, in some cases where manufacturers had a domestic cigar division and a premium cigar division, they were getting guys out of domestics to sell the premium cigars. Everybody, it was a learning curve. Everybody was learning about cigars. We were teaching about cigars, and because the consumers all wanted to know, because they didn't know anything. Cigar aficionado took off because the consumers really didn't know anything. And for the longest time, Cigar Aficionado was educating people. They still do, more so now online than they do in the magazine. And so for the first events, cigar dinners, events in stores, kind of events. I remember going down. You mentioned Steve Saka earlier. I remember going down to the Javits Center in New York, where they had a big cigar event, and running into Steve down there, and it was a great party. It was a great family. It was a great group of people. And the education then became a little less important. Now I was more enjoying the product. But now, that's a generation ago. 20 years ago, it's a new generation. The 50-year-old guy who was just getting into cigars 20 years ago is 70. The 14-year-old kid who didn't know anything about cigars
18, John, 18.
is now 34.
Right.
So he wants to learn. So it has. So it's kind of gone 360 degrees. Where again, we're into education. What we did today is a whole model of educating the consumer.
Mm-hmm. So you started like literally selling out of the back of your car.
Yeah.
And then when you switched over to the bigger corporation, was stuff shipped there, or did they still ship it to you?
We did a little of both.
Okay.
We did a little of both. We did the out of the back of the car, because again, you had to move cigars around. If somebody was heavy in something, you wanted to, but you knew somebody else needed it, you could move it to them. But mostly it was direct sales. Take the order, call the company, or do it on the order website, and the company would ship.
Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, it was straight out of your car.
Well, again,
go anywhere.
A bit of both. A bit of both.
Go into like the malt shop. Like I remember, you and I are from the same town now, but I grew up in the next town over as a little kid. But we live in the same town now, and like I remember going to like Delecta's Pharmacy, and like my grandfather would get cigars, and
At the pharmacy.
and I would get a milkshake, or like a candy cigarette. Like, your candy cigarette or whatever. And then he would just walk with his cigar. We would walk back. And that was it, man. It took us like 3 hours because we would walk down to the pharmacy. I'd have a milkshake or a cabinet, as we say here in Rhode Island, right? Long story about each of them, right? But anyway, you have a cabinet, and I would have my milkshake, and you smoked it in the place. You smoked.
Well, then, yeah.
This is the 80s, dude. You smoked them in the place, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Even when I had the cigar shop, you could smoke in restaurants in Providence after 10 o'clock at night. Remember, you Google Hemingway's in Providence, right? Or Gracie's in Providence. Or Capriccio's in Providence, Rhode Island, right? Like, after 10 o'clock, I remember going there, and we would go there at 10 o'clock, and we would sit down at the bar, and we would have either oysters or dinner, right? Because you eat late. We're in our 20s, right? You eat late. After the cigar shop is closed, we ate and lit up a smoke and stayed there and drank in the middle of Hemingway's. And it's funny because like Hemingway's, right? You would think about family events, right? Like when my brother graduated from the police academy, right? The whole family went to a private room in Hemingway's. And I remember just sitting back and looking at the bar, and I just crack a smile, and I remember just sitting at that bar and just ripping a cigar, dude. Going to Gracie's before I switched over to Tanami Hall, and we'd have a cigar dinner with our company, Spotted Dog Cigar Company, and Gracie's, and have a dinner, and then like a Johnny Walker blue, red, black, and there's one more green. I know they're not in the right order. Blue's the best, right? Then green, then red, then black. If I were going from greatest to there. Anyway, having a thing and like having a tasting and doing that, and like you're in a restaurant, man, and you're eating freaking Z-Bar, which I'm showing my age. Z-Bar on Wickenden Street was right down there, dude. We would like order our food. We would call and say, "Yeah, can we have 3 places at the bar?" Because we were like 3 doors down, right? Isn't that a rock band?
3 doors down, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, right? Well, and like rock band. Anyway, and we would just like say, yeah, can we have 3 seats at the bar? Well, it's us and the Spotted Dog. We'll be there in 10 minutes, and we'd order the food. So when we sat down, we ate, and we lit up a smoke, and no one said nothing because people were smoking cigarettes. People were chilling. It was a different era. It was a different era. So you went to the cigar shop, you had your cigar with your comrades, right, or compadres, friends, whichever. Then you grabbed an extra 2 cigars because you were going bar hopping.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Different.
Like it's a freaking different world.
So different.
It's a different world. Now I'm blessed to have participated in that. but it's just not as fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
If we're going to go down memory lane, a quick story. So I remember when I was in my 20s, my buddy and I, we thought it was cool to smoke cigars. So but we were gas station cigar guys.
Sure.
Because we didn't know enough to go to find a humidor. Actually, there was nothing around us where I grew up in Massachusetts. So I can remember at night being in a Dunkin' Donuts, smoking cigars and drinking coffee.
Yep.
In the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I remember. Well, most just true tobacco shops weren't lounges then, and they closed at 6 o'clock at night. Oz was on Wicked Street in Providence and had a slightly younger crowd. We were next to the Wicked and Pub, right? So we stayed open till freaking 10. And if it was dead, we closed at 9. And by the way, it was the tail end of the cigar boom when we closed at 8, because we just really, 70 hours in a place will make you stare crazy. We put a sign on the door. We're at Hot Club, especially in the summer. We're at Hot Club, and we'd have a duffel bag of cigars, and we would give cigars away, and then people would come back to the cigar shop the next day to pay what they bought.
Oh, wow.
Like, and it was really on your honor system, as we were drinking, right? So it was like, yeah, Joe, you got 2 of this, 2 of all of the Nesters. Remember the old Nesters? Just Nesters, those Robustos, right? Oh, I want 2 of those, and you got any of that? Yeah, blah, blah, yeah, man, just stop by tomorrow. It wasn't like an exchange of money. We were doing that, and Owen was cool with it. Because when we showed up, we would show up there. There was one day. It's always like that first day of when, like, here in New England weather, like, you get, like, the first gorgeous day. We weren't sitting in a cigar shop. Everybody was enjoying the first gorgeous day. We'd fill a backpack full of cigars and walk down to the Hot Club. And we'd be there from noon till
outside.
Noon till midnight.
Yeah.
And there was sometimes we'd have to run back up the shop.
Get more?
And get more cigars. And then people would come back. It's crazy, dude. And owner was cool with that. Because why? Because with us, 20, 30 people are sitting at a freaking section on the deck just smoking cigars, hanging. The owner knows, hey, these guys are going to be here for 2 hours. They ain't going to have just one drink. You know what I mean? So it was just a different era.
When I was in the match business, we used to on Wednesdays there was a young lady in Boston. She went by the moniker of the Cigar Lady, and she would work out of both Peretti's and Ehrlich's at the time, and knock on doors in the office buildings, law firms, wherever, and peddle cigars. And she'd go in and take orders on a Monday and deliver Wednesday. Somebody would order Wednesday, she'd deliver Friday. But Wednesday nights, she used to have an event down in the downtown in the financial district at one of the bars, and they would provide some food, and usually it'd be a different distiller or a different beer company that would provide liquor to taste. And the beauty of it was, because I always worked after I figured it out, I would work Boston on Wednesday because I could stay there till 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then drive back to Bristol and not hit any traffic.
Right.
And have a good night.
And have a good night. Yeah. That's what escalated me. When I was with corporate, I was working in Waltham up that 128 strip, and I would get out of work and go hit a cigar shop up there. I'd go to like Watch City or Courthouse Cigars up in Dedham.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Because I would go there. You drive 20 minutes to Dedham through the back road, sit at Courthouse Cigars, then at 7 o'clock, and I'll boot home. But if I left home at 5 o'clock, I'd be home at 7:10. So what the heck's 50 minutes?
Right.
It's 50 minutes, and I enjoyed my cigar. And met people that I wouldn't normally meet.
Yeah.
And it was just a different world. Totally different world.
Oh, it was fun then, and it's still fun today.
Yep. It's just different today. That's all.
It's different. I was going to say it's different fun. Yeah.
It's different, Cool. We need to do the before we wrap up the show, we need to do final tasting. We need to do final tasting notes and the reveal. You want to do a reveal first and notes? Or
No,
notes?
let's do the notes.
Okay. Nelson, go.
Well, I've continued to get pepper and citrus through. I mean, this has pretty much been consistent for me. I think the pepper increased a little bit as I've been going. I definitely getting fruit. And that there's a subtle of the campfire in there somewhere.
Yep.
I like it. But I mean, that I'd say the predominant flavors I'm getting is the pepper, I could definitely get it on the retrohale in the back of my palate. The citrus, the floral keeps coming up, but I don't think it's the floral.
Haven't done. Here's my takeaway, and you can chime in as we go. Haven't done. This is my third blending seminar that I've mentioned, and the format of all three are completely different. It gives me an appreciation of the importance of smoking your cigar slower. So you can drag out all of the components of the cigar, any cigar. I don't care what it is. But, and I've often said this here, when I started Stogie Geeks, and I would do a review, and then I do a review, like as the years progressed, and I'm starting my 4th year here, right? Every year I've smoked cigars slower, but having gone through this, I think I'm going to smoke them even slower.
You've, like I said earlier, you've made a conscious decision to say, how many times have we talked about this? You drop your son off,
Yeah.
And so if by dropping if you know you've got 45 minutes,
Yep.
don't buy a Churchill.
Right. I buy a Robusto. Right.
If you know you've got an hour, buy a Toro. If there's nothing, I don't think there's anything worse than having cigars. When I'm driving home, if I'm 10 minutes away from home, I've got half a cigar, I'm kind of upset.
Right.
Yeah. I drive around. I drive around, or I'll take a long way home and do that there. And yeah, for sure.
So, question.
Yes.
Would you buy this cigar?
I would.
See, I think whatever it is, like I'm trying to go through a Rolodex of your portfolio in my head, right? And whatever it is, it's going to give me a new appreciation of the process, and not the Alec Bradley process, or just the whole process of that, and the importance of slowing down the cadence of smoking and truly enjoying that. And I've picked up tons of tidbits here today there. But getting back to the components, I can see where there is a fusion of how we had the separation. My only thing moving forward is how's my brain gonna not want to do that for almost every cigar we smoke. You know what I mean? Because it truly is an educational experience for you Stogie geeks out there. Definitely you want to go to a blending seminar when COVID restrictions open up and things open up, or if your local tobacconist is doing that there too.
Yeah, even though you can't break them up, you can still identify, you still know what the wrapper binder filler is, and you can try different sticks. And to Joe's point, smoke it. So one of the things I power smoke, there's no question. When I first started, I did exactly what John said, which was take my time, really experience it. And I think I've gotten bad at that. I power smoke now. Mm-hmm. So, great point on that.
Yes.
Definitely slow down. But I think you can still sort of get this experience if you try different binders, fill it, and then try to taste them, which I think you've actually talked about.
What?
That you can smoke something and be like, all right, I know this is a Honduran wrapper.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
I think you can start to get to that if you do it slower and experience more of the different leaves.
Well, remember when I said before about cutting it and cold drawing it and tasting the tobacco to the tip of your tongue? Altadis makes what I believe one of the finest cigars that money can buy, in the Romeo Vintage Toro glass tube.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mild cigar. If your tastes aren't to mild cigars, I'd say give it a try. But the thing that I've noticed with that cigar is when you cut it and you cold draw and you taste the tobacco to your tip, you're going to get that fruity. You're going to get the dried fruit, the little bits of fruit that you see in a fruit cake. Kind of taste to it. It's real sweet, but when you light it, the cigar just smokes tremendously. And to that point, that's why I do it. And that was probably one of the first cigars I ever did it to.
Mm-hmm. Here's how I want to if you look at the logistics of the show, this process usually takes about 2 hours, right? We didn't rush through it at all.
No.
Right? You should talk to corporate Alec Bradley and do a virtual event. So in other words, I'm making the time up 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You come here in studio, do that, do an online broadcast, ship product to them before, and give the Stogie Geeks an opportunity to have a virtual blending seminar. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like have them do that, because number one, and we can arrange it so that they can have questions and answers. They can either flash us an email or whichever as we're going through, as opposed to going through either different stories or maybe do like an Alec Bradley profile of each stick intertwined or something like that. But put together a virtual event to do one of these, but not only for just us saying, hey, look what we did and they could do it,
right,
but for that Stogie Geeks listener who would like to participate in that. Stogie Geeks, if you want to participate in that, email me at joeh@stogiegeeks.com, just so I can get kind of like a marching tally to report back to corporate Alec Bradley and let them know if there is an interest for that, because I truly think that that would be a super cool experience to do one of these.
Do it together, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it'd be basically the same format. I don't know. Do you have other blends that you have this for?
Yes, yes, we do.
Even better. So maybe we can do 1 1/4, and then boom, and then there you go, and then throw in some commercial spots.
That would
in
be
there.
really cool.
Dude,
yeah,
it'd be so cool, because now we would get feedback, and we can take care of that technology wise. All you got to do is show up and smoke cigars. Can you stay up past 9? I busted your balls, John. Come on.
Just because there's snow on the roof.
You know what I mean? So that's all good. Yeah. Final thoughts on this before John and I or you request a reveal or try to, like, what do you think it is? Like it's so tough, right? Because we've had all the different components.
I think it's even tough because, again, I haven't had I've had the Tempest, the Quorum, the Prinsado's one of my favorites. I'm gonna guess the America.
The America?
That's my guess.
It's a solid. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not a filthy hooligan. There's no Condell in it.
Right?
All right,
Whoa.
so that eliminates
Captain
that.
Obvious.
Right. It's not a Pensado. It's not shaped like that, because I asked you that before.
Yeah. I was thinking black market, but I think it's too light to be a black market.
It's weird, right? Because I'm kind of like, maybe it's a black market. I'm not too sure, but I know it's not a Max. I know that. America's a good choice. That's a solid choice.
I don't know.
Right there. That's a solid choice. Do you want to give us what it is?
Well, you mentioned Tempest. You said you smoked it. Was it the natural or the Nicaraguan?
The natural. This is the natural?
It's the Tempest Natural.
Son of a gun.
The original?
The original Tempest Natural.
Like the OG original?
Well, the ones that we're selling today.
No kidding.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
No. So this is a Tempest Natural.
Yeah.
So you would get a floral bouquet, pepper, zest, lemon, all of that jumped into one. Wow.
Now I wonder, so now I'm going to wait, smoke one, because we did this after dissecting it first.
Yeah, so all of those different components are super fresh in your brain.
Exactly. I'm wondering, will I get the same experience?
Well, you notice you have a second one.
Oh, yeah.
Question. Did you like all three compared to this? Or I can taste the difference.
The T2, whatever it was,
Yep.
the second one, probably my least favorite. Mm-hmm. I think it's just because it was stronger for me. The first one I liked because of the transitions. Yes. Right?
The first one fascinates me.
And while the third one was a little more peppery than the other two, I liked that. Again, I keep describing it as a campfire, but I really enjoyed that. And I did get some of that on the actual Tempest itself. It was good.
Tempest Natural.
You got me, John.
Yeah. Because I was like, I don't know if it's a black market. Black market's, to me, a little bit more punchier, right? The black market Esteli, by the way, home run on that stick there. Project 40, home run on that stick. I talked about that when I was on my way up to upstate New York and I got stopped by the cop. The only thing that ruined my Project 40 was the $380 ticket that I got from Bolton up there.
Wow.
Yeah, don't do 90 on your way up to upstate New York with Rhode Island plates, FYI. Anyway, officer, I should have known better. My brother's on the job. Yeah, that's great. License and registration. Those New York guys don't mess around. There you go. And then I've often said, like, that week, so that was pre-COVID, so that was October of 19. Yes, yeah, because we just did 20. Yeah, so that was October of 19 time frame, right? And I said, so probably give or take a couple weeks with Stogie Geeks reality to catch up and then get filmed and processed out. So November of 2019, I remember saying I'd be fascinated if Project 40 came out with a Maduro, and then lo and behold, you guys did, and super cool. That's a interesting stick. By the way, the cold draw on that Project 40 Maduro, lots of berries, lots of dark cherry on there. Super cool stick there. Always a fan of the Filthy Hooligan. I liked when it was the all Candela instead of Baba Pole. Super fan of the Tempest Natural there too, and looking forward to what you guys are coming out, and then also with Alec and Bradley. With the launch of their latest, you guys got a lot of super cool things coming up. So, looking forward to what's coming out from.
Like
Alec
I said,
and
I wake up every morning, can't wait to go to work. Can't believe I get paid to do it.
Right. Yeah. Just so you know how this concept of this interview started, it was in a restaurant parking lot in the morning when John just was going through his thing. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, yeah, here's some sticks. How's everything going? Yeah, how's Stogie? It's going good. I haven't seen you in a while." And then he's like, "We should go do a seminar." That was what, 2019?
Yeah.
So like I said, it's always on my list of things to do. Nelson knows that in my world there's a true thing of list of things to do.
Yes, there is.
But yeah, John, anything else you want to add?
No, just thanks a lot. This was a totally unique experience, and look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, we should do a virtual one of these and do, what are they called now? Virtual herfs?
Yeah.
Virtual blending herf.
Yeah.
And
Stogie Geeks virtual blending her.
Yeah, dude, we should do this.
Stogie Geeks, Alec Bradley, virtual.
We can put Alec Bradley first.
Now we're getting to marketing.
No, it's okay.
Right? Alec Bradley presents.
Oh, there you go.
Let's figure this out before we go. Alec Bradley presents a blending seminar with Stogie Geeks. I see headlines.
$59.99. No?
I don't know how much these things cost. I don't know how much they cost. It depends. You could make it $99.99 and throw in freaking 5 or 10 sticks and give them a whole Alec Bradley platform. They can figure that out. That's all going to be figured out in a boardroom.
I love that idea of also giving the audience a chance to actually have it with them. I mean, it's just going to be awesome if we can pull this off.
I think it'd be a cool customer service thing to do, and I want to add that's one component because I get a lot of emails saying, Joe, you, Nelson, Drew, previous host, you guys always talk about this lounge experience. I live 45 minutes to an hour to the nearest lounge. I don't have a lounge life that you speak of, right? And now we're going to bring that lounge over to them. Then we can logistically pull it off because we do it here at Security Weekly all day, every day.
2021, baby.
So absolutely. That'd be super cool if we could put that all together. Yeah, John, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for being in the industry. And John made me an ambassador way back in the day. So when I talk about, I was a cigar ambassador as well and did that, this is pre-influencer We were on 56K modem then. You know, and did that there, and yeah.
You didn't have internet fame.
I did not have internet fame like Nelson and the other chick there, right?
But John, seriously, thanks for this. Is my I know Joe said it's his third. This is my first. Really cool experience. I mean, he had talked to me about this over the summer at one of the dinners we were at, and I just thought that was a really, really neat idea. I know other people do it, but to actually get to experience it, very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. John, thank you. I want to thank Alec Bradley Cigar Company for putting this together as well. Be cool if we could do another one with the boys too.
We'll see.
You know what I mean? Tear apart that Kintsugi. Is it Kintsugi?
Kintsugi.
Yeah, Kintsugi. All right. I want to make sure. Hey, that's probably the first cigar name I didn't butcher. That's probably the hardest to pronounce. Anyway, Stogie Geeks, thank you for watching and listening. Remember, we keep the conversation going all week long. Visit our website, stogiegeeks.com. Email all of your complaints to nelson@stogiegeeks.com. Behind every cigar, I want to remind you there's a story worth knowing. Get out there and speak to your local retailer. Everyone be safe. Thank you for watching and listening. Stogie Geeks, we will see you next time. Peace.